Do you have worries, doubts, anxiety, pressure, or just stress? The word stress gets used a lot, and I don't think people really clarify exactly what it is. And even worse so, they talk about stress management. Now, if you're gonna manage something, you need to know what you're managing. Imagine a company where just doing things frivolously and people are going this way, pushing papers, going to meetings, but there's no order, no structure. Well, first and foremost, we need to define that business, and then we can carry out what we need to do. Stress is the same way. Now, when we talk about stress management, we want to understand a few different things about it so we know what to do with it and get our minds right. So let's get into how to manage stress in a systematic way. Now, the first part, let's identify stress. Now, stress goes by a lot of different names, and the term just generally means anything that changes homeostasis. Now, wait, I know that doesn't really tell a full story. So simply put, the balance of your body, our life, our mind that we have to be at to regulate everyday functions. Now, when that gets disrupted, we can define that as stress. That could be as minimal as just standing up out of a chair or getting a new job or something that can dramatically change your life. Whatever it may be, these all can fall under the category of stress. But that's why we got to get more specific and talk about things like chronic stress versus acute stress. Now, think about acute. What does that mean in math? Acute angle is less than 90 degrees, so it's smaller. So it's the same concept. Acute stress is a smaller event that may be specific to a current moment in time that stresses you out. Like I said, you get the new job, you gotta worry about, oh, am I gonna fit in at the new workplace? I'm gonna be good enough? You got a whole bunch of thoughts going through your mind. But this is specific just to that. It doesn't necessarily linger on, but it could. And that's when it can go into chronic stress. Now, just like the term says chronic, it means it's ongoing. This could last weeks, months, or even years. And that could be a problem because years of always worrying and stressing, it could be tiring physically and both psychologically. Now, what are the physical aspects of stress? Because typically we think of stress, we think about things just in our minds. But stress presents itself in a physical form. We talk about fight or flight, that's stress manifesting in your literal body. Your brain starts sending signals to say react, your pupils dilate so you can see clearer, your peripheral gets less so you're only focused on tunnel vision, your heart rate increases, your breathing. So it's really getting you ready to do something. And that's that nervousness or anxiety that we go through. Now, from a psychological side, now what happens is your judgment gets cloudy because you're just focused on what's going to happen to that specific stressor. But sometimes you need to calm that down. That's the problem. And this is where the management should come in. Now, outside of just chronic and acute stress, we have things called eustress and distress, because we typically only think about stress as a negative thing. But sometimes it can be positive. You're probably thinking like, wait, what? So let's break that down. Distress is basically something that has a negative or unproductive connotation, and eustress has a more productive connotation. I don't want to say necessarily good or bad because that's subjective, but I use the terms productive and unproductive because it ends with something getting better. Going back to that job analogy, it's perfect because with a new job probably comes more pay, but also comes more responsibility. So this stress actually helps you get further in life because it's more productive to make more money, but you got more things and obligations to take care of. So it's a little bit harder, and this could make you more worried and have more implications in your day-to-day life, but the outcome is worth it. Now, on the other side is distress. This could be losing that job that pays the bills, or losing a loved one, a pet, whatever it may be, something that takes away the benefit of what you're trying to achieve or your life in general. So understanding where you fall on that spectrum as, is it eustress? Is it productive, helping you, is building the confidence? Or is distress, is taking away? We got to identify that. Now, outside of those parameters, now that we know what we're dealing with, can you even control it? So I've talked about the locus of control on the channel numerous times, but to give a quick recap, let's think about a circle. Now, in the small circle, there are things that 100% that you can control. You can control what time you wake up, the effort you put in, what you decide to do and make decisions to a situation that you're going through. It's all on you. Now, a little bit out of that circle is your influence, things that you can put some slight influence based on your effort or your decisions, but they still have to be swayed by an external factor. Now, that's that big circle. Outside of that, that's things that are out of your control. Now, if it's out of your control, definitely these are things you still have to consider, but you can't put everything on it. So if you're worried about if someone likes you, or if you're gonna do well in a performance in a sport or a play, you gotta understand that only the outcomes you can influence and work towards, but they can't be controlled. So once you understand where you are and what you can and can't control, it'll help you better manage the stress. Now, the third one we'll talk about is where are you if you need to change and figure out how to stress less or adapt to it better? Are you at the point where nothing you think about is going to where you need it to be? Do you think that everything's against you? It's woe is me, I can't get anything right? You might not be ready to change, and that's okay. You gotta start where you're at. But maybe you're ready. You're like, I know all the things I've been doing wrong. I understand what I can control. I understand what I can do. Then you say, now let's put it into action. Now, it may not happen overnight. It may take a few weeks, few months, or even years to make a consistent change to better adapt, handle stressors, and put yourself in positions where you can do better. Now, the point of all this wasn't necessarily to say solve a problem, because stress management is a continuum. It's something that you do that contains different techniques, different philosophies, things that get your mind right, as I always say. So look at this as a precursor to managing stress so you can get to where you need to be. So if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Nick Davenport from Mind Body One, and as always, get your mind right.